The backloop. Probably the coolest jump in windsurfing. This is the jump when you start wave sailing, you're like, I want to do that. I want to go up there massive and land as clean as the top boys. The problem is, it's not that easy. It actually looks one of the easiest ones, but is probably the most technical jump out there. The forward loop, the push loop is a much easier jump. So, I'm gonna aim to teach you the back loop. But before we can do the big old massive ones you wanna do, we gotta bring it down a level. And we are gonna be doing the micro back loop. Yes, that is a move. Now, when I first started to learn to back loop, my theory was, I'm just gonna try off everything. Any condition, anything, I am just gonna try off everything. And I kind of started landing these really small back loops first. Now, I remember back in the day on shore just turning into them, and I learned a few key things, and I'm going to try and get you guys to go around. This is not a full instructional video. There's a few tips because I don't want to totally confuse you with all these little stages. So I'm just going to show you a few pointers. You guys are going to go out and try, and then you're going to report back with a few videos, and then I'm probably going to dissect them at some point. So what are we looking for? Main thing is you're not super maxed out, overpowered. It's nice to be quite comfortable, but it's not as important. When you're going for the bigger back loops, you definitely don't want to be overpowered. For the small ones, you can maybe get away with it. But the main thing to do with the micro back loop is carving up wind. Basically, killing your forward speed. You have to kill your forward speed. This is the same with the big back loop too, but even more important with the small one. And what we're aiming to do is carve upwind really pretty hard, and then we're going to stop carving and go into the wind, and we're going to try and gain distance into the wind. So you can see those jumps on the screen. Look at the distance from when I take off and how far I move upwind. Okay, I'm not going very high, but just look at the difference I gain upwind. Now, the reason for this is this stops that horrible whip, that horrible over-rotation you're used to seeing on back loops. You can use this tip on normal back loops as well, is carving before the wave, going up the wave straight and heading into the wind, and then you're literally just dropping. You are literally just dropping. Now, these are not the best technique in the world. We're not aiming for superb technique. We're just aiming to land. Really important you sail away. Even if you kick your feet out and you keep the rig flying, it's really important to train your brain you're gonna land. So many people try back loops, they go off the wave and they're literally not even trying to land, they just let go. But we're trying to train our brain to land. So it's all about carving upwind, nice little steep ramp, carving upwind, heading upwind as hard as you can, and then just trying to drop. So the key feature, hand goes back. Your hand goes back to push the rig forward. So to push the rig forward and help yourself spear that nose in. It will get a bit ugly. You might do a bit of hanging. You know, if we're talking about big back loops, I never want to see guys hanging off the rig, but for the small ones, yeah, it's okay because you're only small, you're just trying to sail away. Also key, do not oversheet. As you're trying to turn around the top of that jump, as you're coming up to the top, you need to be almost sheeted out. This is, again, the same in a normal back loop. So many people say you have to sheet in. If you sheet in, you won't be able to rotate unless you take the board with you, and then you're going to over-rotate. That is just how it works. So your board needs to stay behind, your sail open, and then when you get to the top, you can push the board in a little bit to gain that little bit of rotation and push it round. Now, the main thing also to look for is the angle of the sail. When you take off, what I want you to imagine is the sail feels like it's getting pulled on top of you. So you squash the sail on top of you and you stay inside the rotation. I don't want to see you going out straight up because then you're going to come straight over. I want to see you back under the sail, squashing the sail and basically stay inside the curve. you're not doing a full 360 jump, you're literally doing a 180. You're doing a lot of the turn on the water, you're going off the wave, and then you're just dropping. There shouldn't be any crazy over rotation, it should be low. It'll feel a bit like, oh God, I hope no one saw me. But trust me, when you start landing them, those guys that were taking the P that you were going low will be like, how do you do that little back loop you're doing? It's quite cool and it's quite useful. So there you go, just a few little tips. I want you guys to go out, try and get me some video, send it back in. We will analyze some of the videos and try and work out where a few of you are going wrong and where a few of you are going right maybe. But top tips, like I said, carve up into the wind. Pull the sail down on top of you. Stay inside the rotation. Make sure your hand is back because you're going to force that sail round, and make sure you try and sail away, even if your feet are not in the straps. They're the key things for the micro back loop. Go out and get them. I look forward to the videos. So email is below, you can send it at Windsurfing.TV. I am looking forward to seeing some of these attempts and then we will give you more tips as we go through, because I think that is the best way to coach. Everyone is individual, but some people will be able to see your videos and me telling you what you're doing wrong and learn from those. I think it's super important. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, subscribe. We got lots more coming. Give us a thumbs up if you liked it and leave us a comment below. Good and bad, I can take it. I'm a big boy.